Welcome, new editors of Wikipedia. You are here because you are passionate about knowledge. You are passionate about information, sharing it, making it freely available to anybody who wants it. In other words, to a global community. Now, Wikipedia and the various Wikimedia projects that are connected with it is the largest encyclopedia that's ever been created. And it's growing every day. Every day there are new articles and new edits because information is constantly advancing and developing. History is constantly moving forward. And in that way, we never expect to have a period where we will not need new editors and people to freely contribute. Now, in that way, all of us do this voluntarily. We do this because we are passionate about learning, about education, about free and open and accessible knowledge. And in that way, Wikipedia is very democratic in that there is room for everybody. All voices are important. All stories are valuable. And in this way, if there's something that's in Wikipedia, or better yet, something that's not in Wikipedia, yet it's important, it's valuable, its knowledge is part of the human story. That information really needs to be there because without it being present, all of us suffer. Those who the story or the knowledge or the experience is about, and those of us who will never have the opportunity to be exposed to that knowledge or story. We all suffer when certain voices are prohibited, shall we say, or marginalized on Wikipedia. And as a result, we need to ask the question, well, why do people want to participate in this? Well, as I mentioned, Wikipedia is all about knowledge as service. And the service is free, and it's available to everybody. All you need is an internet connection to be part of that. That's all you need. That's the minimum an editor needs. But there's also this part and aspects of the strategy of the Wikimedia Foundation and the Wikipedia community of knowledge equity, where we focus on parts of the human experience that for whatever reason their stories haven't been told. And that's exactly why we need you here. Because all of you have stories, all of you have knowledge and experiences that can add to that rich tapestry. Now, the marginalized voices, those people who, for a variety of different reasons, either intentionally or unintentionally, their stories have not been captured. Those are the voices that are most important to be added. Whether that's LGBT, whether it's issues related to gender or sex, race, nationality, ability or disability, geographic area, what have you. There are lots of classifications for that. But those voices that have not been included are the ones through whose absence all of us suffer, because all of us don't have that experience, that opportunity to basically look at knowledge, look at experience that's not present. And that knowledge or experience that's not present lessens all of us. And in that way, when we start to edit, know that our edits are available in real time. Everybody can see them. And as a result, everybody could look at them and say, well, are those edits that we're making, are they using credible or reliable sources? Are they done in a spirit of bias or conflict of interest? Or are the editors doing something in an objective way? They're basically filling in information, not giving us their opinions, as valuable as opinions can be. But an encyclopedia doesn't really help people if it's filled with opinions. And as a result, everything which we add to Wikipedia needs to have credible and reliable sources. It's really valuable when those who are most marginalized from the encyclopedia, when those voices are added, because they often bring in sources that many others have not seen before. only because, by their fact of being marginalized, those sources just were not present before. So when we try to edit, and when we learn to edit, we want to try not to have our own voice in, right, because we might unintentionally bring in bias or conflict. So as a result, all of our edits should be done using credible and reliable sources. And we need to keep in mind that there are going to be others who, for a variety of different reasons, don't want those sources there, don't want those stories told. Now, because Wikipedia is global, it's in hundreds of languages available throughout the earth, there are many forces out there that seek to control knowledge and control information. And through politics, through intentional information or disinformation or even misinformation campaigns, will try to exclude voices, exclude stories, exclude information. And mind you, when I'm talking about stories, I'm not talking about made-up stories. I'm talking about the story of a person or a story of an experience or of a community. Those people who have experienced something. So for us to bring voices into Wikipedia, for us to fill out that rich tapestry, we want to keep in mind that while we may have credible and reliable information, there are some that will find it threatening. And those will be the ones that will intentionally try to either remove it or target the editors who are trying to add it. So I encourage new editors, be careful, be bold, fix the wrongs, fix the gaps, bridge that knowledge gap between the knowledge that exists and the knowledge that is not present in Wikipedia. Be bold and fix that. But also keep in mind that there are some who will not want that to be bridged. So, in this sense, be safe. Be bold, but be safe. Try to, at times, remain anonymous as an editor of Wikipedia, because you will be judged by the edits you do, not based on who you are or your name or what experience or degrees or what have you have. And as a result, especially for new editors who are editing in what some may consider to be controversial information, whether it is because of the gender or the sex or the experience or the nationality or whatever it is that's not present, some people may find that threatening, as I mentioned before. So as a result, take care of yourself while you're editing, because if somebody scares you away from editing, all of us may be lessened by not having your future contributions that we'll never have the opportunity to see. So as a result, focus on the edits, focus on using credible and reliable information, but also engage with this with self-care, because as I said at the beginning, we need you to edit. But that also means we need you to be present, and we need you to be safe while you're doing this. There are sources out there to help with this. There are trust and safety, and there are communities that try to help. But ultimately, it is you editing an article using credible and reliable sources that you believe need to be added. And we want you to be present. We want you to be part of this global community. And as a result, who knows where this may lead you? I started editing in 2017 as a dare. And I never thought I'd be doing this years later. And in many ways, Wikipedia has changed my life through the community that I've met and the experiences I've had with that community over the years. That doesn't mean it's always been easy. What has? But some of the early advice and the early support that I received has really encouraged me to even be here even this many years later. And I'd love to hear the same for you. I would love to hear how years later, something that somebody early in your experiences editing have done to help you, and as a result, you're still around, still doing good work, still filling out the marginalized voices that are not present in Wikipedia, and just increasing what's there. Because that's the only way that we could really fight misinformation or disinformation or, quite honestly, bias, is by having information credibly and reliably there, allowing people to make up their own minds and to understand things because they see information that is sourced and is fair. And that's part of the goal of many people who start editing Wikipedia. And I would love to hear the same about all the good things that you do and that you bring to Wikipedia. So be bold, be smart, be safe. Because if anybody's able to scare away your voice for whatever reason, all of us suffer and all of us are lessened for it. Thank you and welcome.